It's time for episode 20 of Wine, Music, and Games. This time we head to northeastern Spain for some awesome Rioja, a fantastic neo-prog band that I grew up with, and a brand new one from that guy in green. So how you doing, honey bunch?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Sitting next to my beautiful wife. This is great. I get to talk about music. I get to talk about wine and the games we play.
Yeah.
I love this.
Life
this
is good.
Great. Yeah,
Life is
exactly.
pretty good.
You got to make the best of what you have, and I am very, very, very lucky. So before we go on, remember to head down and hit subscribe and hit the bell so that you find out about all of these episodes as we come to you every week. And Shelley's got a great wine to share with you today.
Wow. This bottle already has the presentation of beauty with this kind of etching. I don't know what you call this, but it's a textured bottle with this gold wire thing on it.
To protect the...
to protect it. Yeah. And this is called Faustino.
Mm-hmm.
And
Bodega Faustino.
Faustino. And this is from 2001. But we were very lucky that our wonderful wine shop, I had a vertical tasting of many years going back very far, at least 50 years plus old. And this winery is very prolific, and they've been making wine for so long.
160 years.
Yeah. So this is the kind of wine that you would buy and you would hold it.
Lay down, yes.
You would lay this down. So we bought this bottle a few years ago.
About 5 years ago now.
And we try to drink just one every year or two because...
we bought a case of it.
We bought a case because we want to have this when it's really old.
Yeah.
Because we tasted the stuff that was really old and it was really special and it will hold up.
2001.
So this is 2001. So, we're doing pretty good. I think we've probably drank 3 of them so far, maybe 4.
Yeah, exactly.
So we still have some left, and we're, using this for very special occasions.
Definitely.
And we would definitely recommend that you get Faustino and put it down.
Yeah.
It will age well, and it tastes just perfect.
We may be opening a bottle when we can say that we made it through this school year.
Oh, we will. We will. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, because that's a perfect celebration. I highly recommend that you all do this. You've probably been working with your kids at home or whatever your situation may be, with work and all that.
No, goodness.
Get this and drink it.
Yes, exactly. All right, the music this time is from, I'm characterizing it as a neo-prog rock band. We talk about progressive rock, we talk about, Yes, Pink Floyd, Genesis, etc. And this band came along in the late 70s into the early 80s. They've had 2 different lead singers, and the first one, a guy by the name of Fish, that was his moniker, led the band for the first 4 albums, and this is that 4th album, which is Marillion's Clutching at Straws. They, of course, released nice deluxe versions of this, so that there are 5 records, 3 different of our live set from the time when Fish was still leading the band, and then the first 2 albums, first 4 sides are the album itself all put together because, of course, you need that to fit on the vinyl and make it sound really, really good. So this album, it just is unlike their previous album, which was Misplaced Childhood, which was, they called it side 1 and side 2 in terms of the songs. This has some songs that are grouped together, but they still tell a story, and I really do appreciate the lyrics that Fish sings and the beautiful music, I think, that comes through in their last album with Fish as the lead singer.
And he's singing now, solo.
Yeah, solo, yeah.
And Steve Hogarth is the new singer, but not new. He's
not
been
new.
around
He's been
forever.
around longer than Fish was.
Yeah, I mean forever. And we love them.
Yeah.
They're still prolific and still playing.
Goodness, yeah.
They do shows that last for days, where you
they have like a fan club convention where they for Marillion.
And we would of course love to do something like that. However, they're not in California.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be a little hard. Though we have seen them many times in concert.
We've traveled to see them. We've seen them back east.
Yeah,
we actually went to England to see them.
One of the,
yeah. We were lucky enough to be kind of over there, and we scheduled it that we could go and see a concert.
And we went to a special place to see them, and
right.
We love their music. And if you like progressive rock, you should definitely. If you like progressive rock, you're probably already very familiar with them. Really, if you're not really that familiar with progressive rock, this would be one to check out because the
entry point is easy.
Are
yes,
beautiful.
And the lyrics are very beautiful. And they have new albums, which we will probably talk about at some point. Fear is the latest Marillion album, and Fish, he says it's going to be his last album. Weltschmerz just came out this past year as well. So Clutching at Straws.
We have all of their albums.
Yes, we do. Multiple versions of all of their albums.
We have it all.
All right. Speaking of, we go from a big, awesome album to a fairly big game. This is Faiyum from Friedemann Friese and distributed 2F Spiele. Boardgamegeek is actually doing the distributing here in the U.S. of the for the American version. This plays, I should say, 1 to 5 players, so you can play solo. It says 120 minutes on the box. We probably get it in with 2 players in 60 to 90 minutes, depending. Yeah. It is a game, and I think it's aptly described as a deck building game with a little bit of the power grid mechanic of if you know Power Grid, which is probably Friedemann's most popular and famous game. You have the drafting of the different power plants that you are using to power the cities in your network. Here, instead, what you are doing is you're on the Nile and you have to clear the board of crocodiles. There are your crocodiles to gain resources, and you're building up cards in your hand and possibly purchasing cards from the card row, 4 of which are available at any one time. 4 you can see might be coming in, but of course you shuffle the deck and you keep them in numerical order. So, for example, if there are high values that are in the area that's selling, you may draw a card because one of those 4 was purchased, and those cards may have to slide up in order to fit the new card in, so they may get more expensive, which is a really interesting bit. But of course, that does mean a little bit of luck can come into the game, which we had happen to a crazy amount in one, which if you tune into the podcast in a few weeks, we'll be talking about in detail. You liked this one too, right?
Well, for me, I think it is my favorite Friedemann Friese game. It is fun to play. What's great about this drafting, getting the cards, and you can pay more for them if they are higher on that. They've been more recently put in or higher valued numbers on the cards. It's just nice because when you draft them, they go into your hand so you can play them right away. You're not putting them into your discard pile and you have to wait and then, shuffle through and things of this nature.
Yeah.
And there's cards that allow you to duplicate your top card, and there's some different fun cards and way they can be manipulated together. There definitely is, like you said, luck.
Yeah.
Because we're pretty comparable game players to a degree. I mean, there are certain games that you would always win, and there's
vice versa.
Maybe, but a lot of spatial games, he might totally win, or I might not even. I'm like, well, what's going on? But but this one, even though we're fairly comfortable with that type of mechanic in the game, the scores were pretty different.
Yeah, well, all over the place, and to the point where there's a big end game scoring that can happen, but we'll talk about that more in the podcast. So tune into that, for sure. I will say, just as a last bit, one of the things that I do like about this mechanism of what cards may possibly come out is it completely changes possible strategies as you become more familiar with the game. You may be like, oh, I'm going to try this thing, but these types of cards are out, so that may gear me in a different way, and that's kind of interesting, and I really like that idea.
What I also really like is the cards that were pulled out and put into the very last part of the deck, so you kind of know if you're thinking you're going to play this and you're like, oh, I would have liked to have gotten that card, but it's not coming out for a while, so you just pick a different strategy, and that is the kind of the niceness of, and I thought it might be too fiddly, but it wasn't, of you putting these in, kind of keeping numerical numbering of the buying the cards. It didn't make it seem fiddly to me.
Not too fiddly.
But I didn't have to do
that.
I
have to do that part.
I didn't have to do that part.
All right, so let's review. What was our wine?
Faustino. Bodegas Faustino. Good.
Good Rioja. Tempranillo is what the grape that
Ah.
usually is from Rioja. So this is a really nice.
Nice.
Long-lasting. You can lie it down forever. Red wine.
Well, and Tempranillo, it seems to, in our opinion, be best with age.
Well, Tempranillo and Cab, of course, is well known for that.
of
But
course.
this is, a hot weather grape, and we tend to like that type of stuff. All right, the music, Marillion's Clutching at Straws. If you don't know Marillion, this is a great entry point. And even though it's the last of the Fish albums, I would strongly recommend this one. Fantastic stuff. And finally, get your crocodiles out so that you can play Faiyum from Friedemann Friese, 2F Spiele, distributed by Boardgamegeek here in the States. Great stuff, good games, good music, phenomenal wine with an amazing lady. Have a great week, guys. Take care of yourselves. Remember, subscribe. Bye.
Bye.